I can't get this. What'd you tell me about Alvin Kamara's rookie year? He caught 80
As a
balls.
rookie, he had 81 catches and 120 rushes, so 200 touches. And, he's never had 1,000 yards, and as long as he's been in the NFL, 1,000 yards rushing. But it's always like 1,500 all-purpose yards. That's just what he does.
Mm-hmm.
And as a rookie, do not think that you can't get a third-round back this year or a second-round back this year or a first-round back this year that comes in and catches 80 passes from Bo Nix.
Yeah. When you said that number, it's like, all right, well, yeah, go get one of those guys.
Right.
And you are really rolling with your joker. Well, Mel Kiper Jr., he has his latest mock out. He also talked to media across the country about that latest mock draft. And our own Andrew Mason was a part of that conference call. Got a chance to ask Mel Kiper some questions on behalf of Broncos fans. And one of those questions was exactly that. Is there a Kamara-type running back out there that the Broncos can grab?
The Alvin Kamara, who's a third-round pick, coming out of the high school, of the collegiate ranks after, just a heck of a career. He's been bounced around from 2 different schools. Dylan Sampson from Tennessee, I think, is a guy to look at there. I'm a LaQuint Allen guy at Syracuse. To me, the way he played this year was as exciting to watch as anybody playing college football. The way he smelled the goal line, the way he moved him outside, he caught passes. Could be a wide receiver, I believe, in the NFL as well. Ran hard. People say, well, the long speed's a question mark, but I think he's an interesting guy. I think LaQuint Allen from Syracuse, like I said, Dylan Sampson, Tennessee, R.J. Harvey at UCF. I think Cam Scatteraboo can be a guy you look at in the 3rd or 4th round area as well. The running back position is really deep. They find your guy. I think there's going to be, like I said, I got 31 with draftable grades. And some of these guys I mentioned, even Caleb Johnson from Iowa, after running in the 4, 5, 7 range, could drop just a bit. Some people are talking about him I'm talking about in the league that I had conversations. It could go maybe sneak into the late 1st, early 2nd. Maybe he drops down just a bit. So after Ginty and Hampton, Judkins and Henderson, the 2 Ohio State kids, are also in that mix. ETN from Georgia. So there's like I said, there's a lot of running backs. They're going to go anywhere between the 2nd and 5th round.
So you and Mel have both now mentioned this Syracuse kid a couple of different times. What can you tell me about him, and what's like the pecking order amongst these bigger names that we've heard?
Yeah, and with LaQuint Allen, he is a polished receiver that also can make you miss in space. Now, he's not going to be the banger. He's not going to be the guy that breaks these bunch of tackles. You're not going to get a hand on him. That's the type of player that he has with quickness, speed, and vision. He's also scheme versatile in terms of gap scheme or zone scheme. Doesn't matter. He understands both concepts with patience and vision. I think that's an incredible asset. Vision and footwork. Terrell Davis and I always talk about that. You got vision, you got footwork, you're going to be pretty good. Mm-hmm. LaQuint Allen's got both. With that speed, with that quickness, great hands there as well. He can run routes. Most college receivers can't run routes. They just go to the open side because it's college football.
Oh, they're just better out-athleting.
Now take that as a running back. A running back who can run routes. It's incredibly rare. So you can move him around the formation, even line him up at slot receiver if you needed to. Certainly run routes and be a dangerous weapon out of the backfield, and probably a 3rd-round pick.
Wow.
You can get this type of player in the 3rd round, a player that I've said there's shades of James Cook. So if you like James Cook and you like what he does for the Buffalo Bills,
I do.
You're probably going to like LaQuint Allen and like him even more if he goes from orange to orange and blue.
Oh, look at that. Nice work there.
I did that on the fly.
That was nice. That was very impressive. And, dude, he says, and I know you've said this over and over, like how deep this draft is. Mm-hmm. His number, now what is he, when he says draftable grades, does that mean 1 through 7?
1 through 7, yeah.
Okay, so 6, 5, 6, 7. We're talking about like Audric Estime types. How many are there in 5, 6, and 7?
Do you know how many draftable grades there are usually?
For running backs?
Yeah.
3?
Well, for all the 7 rounds.
Okay, 5?
Usually about 15.
Okay.
So when I say this is a double draft,
wow.
Yo, my man, give her 2 pieces of cheese, hook it up, because it is a double draft.
Okay.
You almost have twice as many draftable backs as you do on an average basis.
Damn.
So last year you got Audric Estime in the 5th. But the running back run that you missed out on, including Bucky Irving, you should have got Bucky Irving, who, by the way, played 42% of the snaps for Tampa and had 1,500 all-purpose yards. That was the duck. If you're Oregon Trey and you want every Oregon player, you should have got Bucky Irving instead of Troy Franklin. You'd been much better off, and we'd have a different conversation about running backs.
What kind of
with
duck
this
were you
team
looking for there?
They ain't ducks. They cop ducks.
You said it.
Yeah, I know. You're always looking for cop ducks. Watch out for them ducks, right? You never know. You never know. So for me, I go, all right, and listen to the names. He's talking about Dylan Sampson. He brought up Cam Scadaboo. Caleb Johnson now is an option. Now,
is the Syracuse kid better than Cam Scadaboo?
He's just different. Like, Scadaboo is a power, Peyton Hillis-like that. He's better than Peyton Hillis, but that's the type of player. I would say that LaQuint Allen is more, again, like James Cook. So he's a smaller, not a scat back because he's, 200 pounds. But
yeah, he's still 6 foot. I was just looking at his numbers.
6 foot, and I think they list him at like 205.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's small, but he's not Scadaboo, who's just a hammer.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you want a hammer, or do you want something a little smooth, a little dangerous, a little sharp?
Okay.
Right? What kind of object do you want to attack a defense? Do you want a hammer or do you want a knife? LaQuint Allen's a knife.
Is there any way I could get both of those? Hammer in my left, because that's what I'm strong with.
Yes.
A knife in my right, just to like kind of go, like stick and move.
Hammer and knife.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you want.
Can I get both in this draft?
Thunder
if I'm
and
the
lightning.
Broncos?
Yeah, you can. And that's the amazing thing. And you don't even have to take them back to back or one in the first, one in the third. Like, you could take one in the first, one in the sixth.
I mean,
and still get that.
Second and fourth.
Yeah.
Third and fifth.
Well, imagine if your first round pick is, or second round pick, let's say Travion Henderson. There's your knife, right? Because he's the most Kamara-like back in this class, in my opinion. And then in the sixth round, you take Taj Brooks from Texas Tech. That's your hammer. So you got a hammer and a knife. You've got your thunder and lightning.
Yeah.
You've got your Ingram and Kamara. They need both. And you've got options with 31 draftable running backs in this class. And actually, the number might be a little bit higher than that because I'd have to look at Mel's list and see where Ja'Cory Cross-Kamara is. He's kind of my last, super, super deep sleeper, the Arizona running back who barely played there because of NCAA transfer rules.
But still a draftable grade.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Take him and watch him work.
Well, that's when you mentioned, I know you've mentioned him as like a 6th-round pick.
Yeah.
You got 3 of those things. That's very low risk, if any risk at all.
Right.
And potential to be a high reward.
Yes, and a player that can beat you as a runner, receiver out of the backfield. You want an elite receiver that plays running back or tight end. They got that with Evan Ingram in terms of veteran, even though Ingram's not the seam ripper, the speed guy that he used to be. He's being miscategorized by some, and I want to make sure that we, put out the right narrative. Evan Ingram's not your deep seam guy. He's not the seam ripper. He's not going down the middle of the field with speed. He's an underneath guy who knows how to get open. That's what he'll be for Bo Nix and could be a favorite target, security blanket for Bo Nix. But I'm telling you, a rookie running back could be the leading receiver for the Broncos this year.
Okay, can't wait to see it and who they land. We'll hear more from Mel later on in the show. Quick update on the NCAA scoreboard. Creighton and Louisville are underway in the second half, and Creighton's all over the Cardinals there. It looks like they're on their way to a big win. Purdue and High Point, I hear you, Kevin, High Point University, which we just found out is the Panthers. And Cecil, you said their campus is like Disney World. Purdue, the Boilermakers, up 10 at halftime there and underway in the first half. Wisconsin, the Badgers, and the Grizz, Montana, early there, but the Badgers up 9-5. That is all we have underway so far for round number 1. We're certainly going to keep you guys updated as to what is going on in round number 1 as the day rolls on.